So, how's it going? Today is going to be a rig build. It's going to be 3 rigs. It's going to be the Pulley P, Pulley D, and the Pulley X. That's what it's going to be. So what do you need to make these? These are the components you're going to need to tie the Pulley B. 2 beads, 2 swivels. That's for the snoods. For the rig body, 1 pulley bead or just a swivel, £100 plus. 1 angel clip with a swivel on it. Very important it has a swivel. Piece of lumi tube and 2 hooks. So that's what you're going to need to tie it in its entirety. And then you need £80 mono rig body, £30 fluoro if it's flatfish. Go a bit heavier if it's something else, but that's generally good. So let's get started. First up, you need an arm's length of mono. This is important because when this rig clips down, it shortens, and when it hits the water, it extends and fishes more ground, thusly catching you more fish, potentially. First of all, I like to tie on the angel clip. You can use whatever knot you like. I use the figure of 8 because it's quick and it's strong and doesn't mess with the line too much. Then a bead, a swivel, a bead. There we go. Then next is your pulley. 1 pulley bead, and then after that is your final swivel. Now, since this is half a pulley and half a paternoster, and the 3 rigs work that way, the top one has to be rated at least £50, right? So you're looking at a well, size 6 or something like that. If it's a power swivel, you're well over the top there. You'd be well over £100 if it's a size 6 anyway. But just a normal crane swivel, you'll need a size 5 or 6. The bottom one can be whatever the hell you want it to be because it's tiny. So before you tie this on, just check the components to make sure they're all on the right order. Check them twice. Trust me. Check them twice. So with this one, there's just 2 main components on the body itself. That's the bead and the swivel and the trap of the beads, and a pulley bead. Now, if you're just using a normal swivel for the top one, for the pulley bead, you'd have to put a bead behind that to protect the knot. But this one is a pulley bead, so you don't need it. So then the last one is the swivel, and this goes on just the same as the other ones down the bottom, with a figure of 8. Boom. So now you need to trap these between 2 crimps. I'm going to use stop knots because I don't like crimps. It's a figure of 8 tied around the rig body. If you want the stop knot to move, do 3 if it's £50 line. If you don't want it to move, do 4 turns around it. You'll get used to opening that. So I don't want that to move, so I put 4 turns on it. The top one, I'm just going to put 2 or 3 on it, it doesn't matter. They never come up. So that's it. This looks untidy and everything else. It is, but I'm just doing this for the camera. Usually when I do it myself, I don't have such long tags on them and stuff like that because I pull them with a pair of pliers. But just for convenience sake for this, I'm going to do it like this. Most people use crimps. Then it is the hook length. Now, you don't want that bottom snood up too high. So I like it about 45 to 50 centimeters from the bottom of the rig. You eyeball all of this. This rig can also be fished just with normal J hooks, but I have ones tied up here with a hair and everything else. And so I'm going to tie this on the way I tie all my hooks on, which is with this simple snell here. So you just go around, you make a loop. I have a video on it. I'll put a link in the description. So you just go around the shank of the hook 7 times. And so that's that. Always through the back of the hook, out to the front, to make that hook work as best as it possibly can. And so because this is a circle and it's fished on a hair, you can use a snell knot, which is much stronger than normal knots. This is like the 100% knots of hook knots. And so then you tie that onto your swivel on your rig. So that's the bottom one. You could put a piece of Lumi tube on that, but it's not necessary with this rig. But the top one, it is necessary with. So I'm just going to tie this one just the same as that one, with a snell and everything else. Now, you want the top snood to come down almost to the height of that one there. We're going to set that right now. So what I do is I put the clip, the hair clip, into the bait clip, and I just slide the beads up until it stops. That's all I do. And then I tighten them. That's it. And so that's the same process for every rig in the series. Okie dokie. Lovely. Now that's a probability. So that's probably the most difficult part of the whole rig bit. Just that bit there. And it's not very difficult at all. You know what I did the last time. So then, piece of Lumi tube, about 2.5 centimeters on, onto the snood. Then you just tie that to the swivel. Before you do that, you need to gauge how long it needs to be, and you just do it roughly. So I could do it a little bit more. Down it goes. So then you get the Lumi tube, you push it over the swivel. Boom. That's exactly where I want it to be, just above the last snood, or the last swivel trap there. So we're good. So you just clip them down, just to check first of all. See everything's 100%. So there you go. That's the pulley. P. If anybody's wondering about the hairs, I just did a video about that as well. I'll leave a link in the description. Yeah. So, next rig, pulley D is I. Now, I'm not going to go through the whole thing again because the top is exactly the same. The only thing that changes is the bottom. So I'll just cut off the bottom and I'll change the bottom. Alright, yeah. So, actually, something does change in this rig. No, it doesn't. Yes, it does. So, this rig is very similar to the last rig, so it was just a couple of changes to it. So everything's the same as the pulley, except for these two things here. You're going to need 2 extra beads, a couple of extra pieces of Lumi tube, and 1 relay clip, which I've made. So, but you can buy them. Breakaway makes them. I'm sure other people do as well. That's the extra components you need there, not that tag end. You'll have plenty of them when you're finished. But that's what you need for the next 2 rigs to make them different from the pulley P. Right. Just to alter this, I'm just going to clip this off the end of it. If you're making this rig from scratch, you do just like I did with the other one, full arm's length. The good thing about this rig is you can have a longer bottom snood, but I'm not going to do that. This is just a demo. First of all, you get your beads for your relay first of all. Now, it's important that the relay goes up this way up when it's on the rig, because it can hold the fishing line of the snood line. So that's it there. I fish this way up, the swivel and all the rest will go underneath it. And then it's just like before for trapping the swivel, just 2 beads. Just 2 beads. Just like that. And then underneath that, piece of Lumi tube. Just to keep it from falling down onto the bait clip, so it doesn't tangle. You know? You could of course put one behind the swivel there on the hook length as well if you wanted. I do on occasion. So then you just tie it back on again, and then just crimp or stop knot, whatever you got going. You just set that right there, and then you'll need another stop knot for the relay clip as well. So there it is now. Okay, all the way up to the top, which is the pulley, down to the hook. So now you're going to set it. You can hang this if you want, but as you can see, it's not actually necessary, but it makes it less tangly. So then you get it, you put it onto the relay clip, which is pretty much good actually as it goes, size wise. So you can see where we're going here. It goes up to the relay clip. When it hits the bottom, it unclips and fishes just like that. Okay, and the lead weight will be on the end, obviously. So as I was saying, the good thing about this rig is you can have a longer snoot down the bottom. We clip it up, we show it to you. So that's it there. Hooks clip down, relay clip, pulley, done. So that's the pulley D. Onto the pulley X. The pulley X is pretty similar as well, but as the name kind of suggests, it's a hybrid of the Wessex rig. It's a pulley and a Wessex rig, but a clip down. So it's like the pulley D, but just slightly different. These are traveling rigs. So when I say traveling rigs, I mean they're for scratching and they move around. I fished them on plain leads, cone leads, and stuff like that. You have to make sure that they have a swivel on the bottom, or they will tangle up on you and it'll be a nightmare. Wessex rig is a scratching rig, one of the best, and the only way I can make it better is to clip it down, make it shorter, and make it fish further out. So this is what I came up with, pulley X. And for this one, you're just going to need all the components of the last two rigs, or all the components of the last rig, and just a few extra beads. So the last and final rig is the pulley X. It is exactly the same as the pulley D, except for the end of it is a Wessex. So you'll need your relay clip just as before. The top is just the same, it's just the pulley. Don't forget, you get your lead weight and you swivel and you put it on, just like a Wessex. And then you put your beads behind it. This is just to stop it tangling. You could use tube. Make sure it's tough tube though. That's it there. And then on the hook length, piece of nylon tubing, silicone tubing, whatever kind of tubing you got. Attach a swivel. Ever knot you like. I'm not the knot, please. Yes, sir. Then you just tie that onto your main line. You with me, brothers and sisters? And since there is a pretty high chance this is going to tangle because it's a traveling rig, this is necessary. You will need it unless you're using £100 for a snoot or something. So you just pull that down over the swivel or the knot, whichever it goes over, and it stays there. I prefer the swivel. If you're going to put it over the swivel, don't go onto the body of the swivel, otherwise it won't swivel anymore. So that's it there. That's what it looks like. And to set it, it's just the same as the others. So that's it there. The settings relay. This is not a rig for a surf beach unless there's no waves. If you want to use one of these rigs for a surf beach, it should be the pulley P, because it won't tangle. It will cast a long way. It will fish like a flapper rig if you want, if you don't clip it down or whatever. But these ones, no, definitely not. Just like the other ones, the top snoot comes round to meet them, like so, all the way to the end. If this is the first time you're seeing this video or this rig, because nobody else uses it, is mine. If you think it tangles and it doesn't catch fish, watch my videos, Don Dabs, X-Rig test, all that kind of good stuff. Also linked in the description. There's a lot of links in the description. But anyway, there's a lot of rigs, a lot of videos. So that's it there. The Pulley X, short for Wessex. Yeah. So, for people who are new to building rigs, I will throw in a couple of tips for free, because I'm nice like that, you know. So, when you've got rigs, and they fold out. Okay, you don't want any of the top components, i.e. this and the hair, to come into contact with any of the lower components. So, i.e. the top snood, boom, should be a little bit shorter than all the other gear you got going on down the bottom. You with me, brothers and sisters? It's very simple. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you find it helpful. I'm Billy. This is Billy Tying Rigs. This is Billy in the woods. Don't forget, I will see you on the beach. Bye.